When it comes to the red-hot Colorado Rockies, you hoping that flame continues to burn in the right direction, or do you want all those flames to be back on the dumpster fire that was the Rockies before a 3-game sweep? Let's talk about the rest of the Rockies season coming up next. I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm going to sit here and do a podcast on the Colorado Rockies when they're as bad as they are. But here we are. After 3 straight wins, we kind of have to talk about the Colorado Rockies. So they just did it. They just completed the sweep over the Miami Marlins. And I get it. It's the Miami Marlins. They're terrible. So are the Rockies. Beggars can't be choosers. If we're begging for Rockies wins, let's not choose how we get Rockies wins in our lives. So that's the first part. Yes, they swept. And yes, I know it was the Miami Marlins. But before this series, and we talked about it on the radio show, shameless plug here, 10 to 2 over on the Fan. Join Cecil and I every day. We'd love to hear from you. Before this series started, I asked Cecil on the radio show, hey, what comes first? Because they were 9-50. 9-50. I have to laugh when I say it so that I don't cry when I say it. When this series started. And I asked Cecil on the show, what comes first? 10 more wins to get to 20 wins or 100 losses. Well, now they've won 3 in a row. They're only 8 wins away from that 20 mark. Feels like that's the obvious answer. But the question then becomes, all right, Rockies fans, how many of you are even out there at this point? What are you now rooting for? Because a lot of people, especially in my world, right, my media brothers and sisters out there, a lot of folks went, yeah, this has got to remain bad. We want them to beat that White Sox record from a year ago. We want them to lose 135 games because then something has to change. Y'all sure about that? They've lost consecutive seasons of 100 games. What changed? Nothing. Dick does what Dick does. But would 130 really amplified the magnifying glass that is on the Colorado Rockies? Because we've said it before. You got guys like Tim Kurchin, national media members dumping all over the Rockies, saying that it's unhealthy for baseball to have teams and owners like the Rockies and Dick Monfort. You have just a couple of days ago, more national folks coming out. It was Jeff Passan of ESPN. And I always like to say ESPN because that's how they say it. Coming out on, what's the frat bro's name? McAfee, on McAfee show, saying, man, it's unhealthy. It's bad. He said that Dick Monfort and the Rockies are 10 years behind the rest of baseball when it came to technology and taking advantage of analytics. 10 years. That's what national guys are saying about these Colorado Rockies. Now, would Manfort, the commissioner of Major League Baseball, stepped in? I doubt it, because Dick actually makes money because we all go to the games. And it's about to be summer, right? Kids are out of school now. The attendance is just going to get up and up and up and up as more free time and more beautiful weather makes its way to Colorado. So I'm kind of torn here. I don't want to live in the city where the worst baseball team of all time resides. I take pride in this place. I'm proud to be in Colorado. I'm proud to live in this state. I'm proud to call it my home and pay my dang taxes to this state so that it gets better. I'm not proud to be somewhere where the Colorado Rockies are. So that part of me goes, turn this around. I'm tired of being made fun of. And all my sports friends from different market going, dude, the Rockies suck. What do you guys do about the Rockies out there? I'm sick of that. It's been my whole life outside of like 3 seasons. So I don't want that to be the case. But then on the same side, I guess I'm going to talk out of the other side of my mouth on this. I go, what else needs to get worse before Dick actually does something? Didn't do anything with 2 straight 100-loss seasons, maybe a third. When it gets north of 120 losses and Passan and Kurchin and national outlets are just crapping all over you, maybe that changes something. But then again, I go, isn't that the definition of insanity? Going about something the same way and expecting a different result? That's what we're doing with Dick Monfort. And save your tired takes of protests and sell the team campaigns. It's not going to happen. That's tired old takes for lazy radio hosts and columnists to write about. That's not happening. Stop it with that. There is one thing that I think might be interesting for these Colorado Rockies on the horizon. And his name is Walker Monfort. Not Larry Walker, but Walker Monfort. He's the son of Dick. And he's actually about 36 years old. And I really do respect what Dick has done for Walker. and kind of the path that he's laid out for his son to follow. And he's allowed Walker to work inside the organization basically since the kid was a teenager. But he hasn't given the kid back then a lot of responsibility. He wanted Walker to kind of learn the ins and outs of everything inside the organization. And I think that's smart. Your work, for example, my work, for example. I want my boss to know what I do for a living. I want my boss to know what most people in this building have done so that they can relate and they can have a conversation and they can be problem solvers in every single department. I think that's smart. I love that they're doing that with Walker Monfort. So Walker Monfort at 36 years old, kind of have done everything. He's worked his way up now to helping out and being a part of the front office, scouting sort of stuff. And Dick Monfort at 71 years old. Now, I don't know about you, but if my father was the laughing stock of a city and got crapped on by sports fans all over the state, it would be my life's work, my life's mission to fix my father's legacy, to change the way that people believe, think, and feel about my father. I hope Walker feels that way. So here's another question. Are you rooting for them to turn it around? Because like I said earlier, you live here, you rep here, you don't want to be embarrassed by the baseball team. Totally get that. Or are you rooting for it to be so bad that Dick doesn't have any other choice but to walk away, or at least eliminate himself from the process and kind of put Walker Monfort on a fast track to take over for Pops? So 71-year-old Dick Monfort, by the way, you still get to run all your macaroni grills. You still get to charge rent for everybody that's paying rent there at McGregor Square. And you still get to be a baseball fan with your little seat there in front of home plate while you're keeping score on your iPad. If that were to be the play, like if you could promise me that, you could guarantee it, like Charles Barkley says, that if you were to lose 125 games, Dick would walk away and he'd allow Walker to start coming in and making some decisions, I'd sign up for it. I'd say, go lose 140 games. What the hell do I care? But I'm so hesitant to say that. I'm so hesitant to just go, well, yeah, but this time Dick's really going to be embarrassed. I don't think that's the case. We're about to get through June and July where 36,000 people per evening are going to show up to Coors Field and buy all of his beer and park in all of his parking spots and crush all those hot dogs. Dick embarrassed about that? Does he think Dick's embarrassed when he checks the bottom line on the bank account? Because I think the answer is no to that. So I'm honestly torn as to what I want the Rockies to do the rest of the way. I hate that they're as bad as they are. But I also want some change to come. And if that does come because they're an absolute national embarrassment, well, then I wouldn't mind that either. I'd love to know what your answers are. I'd love to know how you feel about this Rockies team. You got guys, you got some young guys in this system. We know about Zeke Tovars. We know about the Brenton Doyles, right? Like the Zach Veen, who hadn't really figured anything out. Toglia, who was supposed to be this big hammer and stick, who hasn't really figured anything out. What can those guys do the rest of this season? And what are you rooting for? Are you even watching? I guess that's another question, right? I get the folks that go to the games, and I say it all the time on the radio side of this. You have a son, you have a daughter that plays baseball, that plays softball, and you want to take them to a game and have a father-daughter moment, a mother-son moment, whatever the case is. Go to the game, man. I get that. I still go to games. Really hope I get free tickets and don't have to pay them for them, but I'll still go to the games. My girl loves going to the ballpark, having a dog, having a drink, being out in the sun. I completely get it. But man, it's just a tough spot right now to be in this city, care about baseball, and have Dick Monfort ruining this team for the third straight season. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you're rooting for. Turn it around or dumpster fire. One of two lanes. I'd love to know where you're at. I'll try to circle back, respond to as many comments as I can. While you're here, don't forget to like and subscribe. Watch everything else we're doing here on the Denver Sports YouTube. We got Mile High Hockey. We got Mile High Hoops. We got Orange and Blue. We got you covered for all things Denver sports. Really, really want to know how you're feeling about these Colorado Rockies. This has been Dover on Denver, and now I'm done.